My name is Catherine Sunderland, and I will be presenting a brief biography on one of the artists we chose from the Maidu tribe. The artist I will be talking about is Frank Day. Now, who is he? Frank Day was born in 1902 and passed away in 1976. Growing up, he had equal parts traditional Indian learning as well as attending a federal boarding school where he learned about American culture. Growing up in this federal boarding school, he had a lot of pressure to fit in and faced a lot of racial oppression. In 1922, after Day's father died, he dove deeply into Indian culture and began traveling around, trying to learn as much as he could about the culture that was so important to his father. And in 1960, after a bad injury, Day began painting and more specifically painting Maidu tribe scenes in order to present and preserve the Maidu tribe's culture and pass it on to future generations. In his lifetime, he created over 200 pieces of art representing the Maidu tribe, and one of his most notable legacies was teaching the traditional song and dance of the Maidu tribe to Californian Indians that can still perform it to this day. This is one of Frank Day's works of art called Lone Arrow or Wuktem Boso. In this piece, a hunter is shown coming back from a hunting trip. We know he's coming back because he has the deer he has slain on his back, as well as an empty quiver of arrows. The hunter is kneeling down at a pool to take a sip of water when a lioness comes out from behind trees and rocks and attacks him. That's when the hunter takes his last or lone arrow and uses it to slay the lioness. This piece is very disproportionate in regards to the hunter. His biceps and forearms are skewed as well as his legs and feet. I think this is to display a sense of physical agility or speed and strength to conduct himself. This scene is depicting a legendary hunter. It's showing the triumphant success of the Maidu, and at this point in time, this was the highest form of success for them.
Hello, so we chose the Maidu tribe. So the Maidu were a Native American tribe located in Northern California. The Maidu were dispersed into different groups and lived in separate valleys, foothills, and mountains in northeastern Central California. There are three subcategories of the Maidu: the Nissian, the Northeastern, and the Concow. And these are just some photos. So we chose Harry Fonseca. So Harry Fonseca was a Maidu artist that was born in Sacramento on January 5th, 1946, and he died on December 28th, 2006. Him and his family were of Nissian, Hawaiian, and Portuguese descent. They belonged to the Shingle Spring Band of Miwok Indians, which are classified as part of the larger group of Native Americans known as the Maidu. So he would take inspiration from his Maidu heritage using the basketry designs, the dance regalia, and he was actually a traditional dancer as well. In 1979, he created his very popular Coyote series. So, Coyote is an indigenous California trickster who appears in contemporary settings. So, Coyote was more of like an avatar for Harry exploring his creative, artistic, and his ethnic identity with the context of the contemporary world. It was used as an art for like self discovery. As stated in Coyote Leaves the Res, The Art of Harry Fonseca, which is an article that I read, a means of navigating different aspects of his life and identity during a time when ideas about Native people were often driven by outside forces, including commercial markets, tourism, and historical cliches. In the article Outside the Box by Victoria Hutter, she explains how markets were created for Native American art, how Euro Americans made this form of box and rules of what Native American art is sellable and what it should look like, basically. But the Native community did not have rules and it didn't have a box on what it should look like. Harry Fonseca, I feel, agreed with it as the art that he made did not align with the stereotypes and cliches. It went in the opposite of it. The painting I would like to talk about is Coyote Leaves the Res, which depicts Coyote dressed in leather jacket with many zippers and a black platform shoes. It's definitely a change of traditions as it shows Coyote in the said contemporary settings. The name alone, Coyote Leaves the Res, which is Coyote Leaves the Reservation, also shows like a departure of the customs. And that's Harry Fonseca, and those are my works cited.
So I will also be talking about Harry Fonseca, who is a Maidu artist. So who were the Maidu? The Maidu were a Native American tribe from Northern California. They were broken up into like smaller factions, so there were like three main groups of the Maidu that were each from different areas of Northern California. The Nisenan Maidu were from further south, closer towards central or mid California. Um, the Yamani Maidu were from northeastern California, and the Konkal Maidu were from northwestern California, so closer towards Oregon. Harry Fonseca was a Nisenan Maidu artist who was born on January 5th, 1946. He was heavily influenced by Maidu culture and ancestry, and traditional dancing and art from other native artists and whatnot. So he took that into he used that as inspiration for his work frequently, and he also took a lot of inspiration from coyotes, who were native Californian animals, and also revered by the Maidu. Um, and he features them in quite a few of his paintings. If you look up Harry Fonseca, you literally see, countless paintings that feature these coyotes, um, which I liked. I think it's very interesting. And normally, in most of the paintings, they're wearing leather jackets, and they are wearing Converse, and they got chains, and it's just not what you'd expect from a native American artist. You'd expect something more traditional. Um, yeah. This is the painting I chose to talk about.
Hello, my name's Alberto Ruiz, and today I'm going to be talking about the image "The Burning." In this image, what it's depicted here is something called burning ceremonies that the Medua tribe would hold sometimes, and these ceremonies would be held to honor those who died in that same year, usually held in the fall time. And on occasion, they would sometimes do this specifically just for one person. In this image here, that's exactly what's happening. This burning is specifically set out for something called, or for someone in their clan, the dancer, and it was depicted by all these different skins that they're burning. Different skins would represent different types of members in their clan. The deer, mountain lion, eagle, and coyote, as well as the bear skins, all would represent the dancer. And on the right, you could see something called a regalia. On the right-hand side, the one with the bow and arrow, that's a regalia, and that would represent pretty much it's their deceased spirit. And at the height of this ceremony, the everything would be completely burnt, the skins as well as the regalia to honor the dead.